Su Yuming traveled for 53 years and was trapped in the seventh layer of qi refining, unable to advance inch by inch. After leaving the remains of the body in the family, prepared to be locked down and imprisoned. Accidentally married Shui Yulong, whose family was shattered, and opened the talent entry. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 1,000 miles a day. With a flash of spiritual light, the spiritual method is sublimated. Many sons and many blessings, one person can revitalize a family. Keywords of the novel. Shoshin family. I, who came to marry in old age, am full of withered wood and spring. No pop-ups, Shoshin family. I, who came to marry in old age, am full of withered wood and spring. Download complete text, Shoshin family. I, who came to marry in old age, am full of withered wood and spring. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Leaving resources for the family and the birth of talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Leaving resources for the family and the birth of talent. In the old house of the Su family on Yendang Mountain, where the remaining lights were withering and the flames were burning, two cultivators were sitting opposite each other in a peaceful silence. Su Yuming waved his hand and his spiritual energy flowed. He had a storage bag, a medium-grade flying sword, 15 talismans, 2 talismans, 20.3 lower-grade qi refining pills, 2 medium-grade ningqi powders, and 200-year spirit fruits, all of which were on record. Uncle, have you figured it out? The young Su Yanbing's face was complex, as Su Yuming was already in his 50s and in his 30s, indicating signs of decline in qi and blood. At this time, he handed over these personal belongings to the family, which was a contribution to the family's strength, old and weak. In fact, the family just wants their uncle to marry and have children, to continue the family's bloodline. If the uncle is unwilling, he can also go to the town to settle down. Why? Su Yuming raised one hand and said, at most, there are still 7 years left. Before my qi and blood decline, I will hand over these personal belongings and consider them as another effort for my family. It's not in vain for my family to cultivate me for decades. After speaking, Su Yuming stood up tall and said, Lin Lao, I need to go out and take a look at this world of cultivation. As one of the 4 sons of Yendang Mountain, Yen Bing, you are the most promising cultivator in our clan to build a foundation. Don't assume the posture of a young lady. Just accept it. Uncle. Su Yanbing watched as Su Yuming walked confidently, wearing a Taoist robe and stepping on the starry path, step by step, towards the foot of the mountain. The vicissitudes of his old back made him feel a sigh of relief. Among the cultivators of the 5 generations of Qiangli Yu Yen, who live on Yendang Mountain today, my uncle should be the last few of the Yu generation. Su Yuming, at the age of 6, had a spirit of enlightenment and 3 spiritual roots of gold, fire, and earth. The ancestor of Qianghai asserted at the peak of qi refining and the construction of foundations can be expected. At the age of 7, 1 layer of qi is refined, and at the age of 12, 3 layers of qi are refined. At the age of 15, there are 4 levels of qi refining. At the age of 21, he refined 6 levels of qi and became a well-known qi refining cultivator in the Yendang Mountains. He used his golden light sword technique, thunderbolt fire technique, and protective earth dungeon to defeat the other 5 qi refining cultivators in the Yendang Mountains, showcasing our clan's power. He was selected as one of the 4 sons of Yendang. At the age of 22, he swallowed the precious treasure of the Yendang Mountains. Bai Chao Dan, and entered the later stage of qi refining. At the age of 23, he was attacked by a mysterious person while going out of the neighborhood. He returned from serious injuries, his spiritual roots withered, and his path was cut off. At the age of 28, he learned the 4 elements of the Qi Dan Fu formation, and at the age of 31, he completed the Fu Dao, and became a lower-level Fu master. At the age of 35, he failed to break through the 8th level of qi refining, and at the age of 38, he failed to break through the middle-level talisman master and was expelled by the fourth son of Yen Dang. Su Yanbing sat under the oil lamp with a pen, writing to this point, tears streaming down his clothes. After 15 years of delay, he refined 8,000 gold, fire, earth, and talismans for his family, earning a profit of over 18,000 spiritual stones. 53 years, leave your personal treasures for travel, ancestral temples, and prepare your clothes and hats. Prepare clothes and crowns, that is to prevent Su Yuming from dying in a foreign land and leaving no bones, and bury him in the clothes and crowns tomb. Hey! What he didn't know was that Su Yuming was also looking back at this Yendang main peak at the foot of the mountain. He knew very well that once he walked out of the mountain gate, he would never come back. I have traveled for decades and did not obtain the golden finger in online novels. However, at the age of 21, I gained a lot of fame and was ambushed by villains. From then on, I cut off the road to building a foundation. Moreover, practicing every night can cause pain in my internal organs. Not to mention the decline of qi and blood when he reaches the age of 60, he estimates that at the age of 60, once his body's qi, blood, and magic cannot be maintained and begins to regress, it will be his death. Let's go down the mountain and say goodbye to our old friend first. After years of cultivation, Su Yuming had few old friends. During his glory, many came to admire him, and at the end, many left him. What remains now are some old friends made by clan members and those who have practiced talismans. In the Yendang mountain market, the lights are brightly lit at night, and the monks keep coming and going. Su Yuming walked into a store selling talismans. Third brother. He arched his hand slightly towards the old man sleeping soundly on the counter. Old 19. Su Yulong suddenly looked up and woke up, looking at Su Yuming with a hint of heartfelt joy on his face. How could you think about going down the mountain, but you've refined new talismans? Bring them here, I'll give you an extra 10% contribution from the family. As he spoke, he lowered his head and glanced at the storage bag that Su Yuming often hung around his waist. He found it empty, and his expression suddenly collapsed. Where did you leave the storage bag, kid? I'm staying in my family, third brother. I'm here to bid you farewell. I'm going to the Green Mountains for thousands of miles, wandering around, and there's no more visible time. You. Su Yulong pointed at him angrily and said, tell me about when you were young, asking you to find a Taoist couple and having a descendant worry about staying in the family to rest for the rest of your life. When you're old and alone, wander around. In that wilderness, if you encounter strong people, monsters, and be ambushed, no one will collect your body for you. If I had known, I should have forcibly adopted my young son under your name, so that you could. Su Yulong saw Su Yuming bowing to his long body, and after getting up, he silently turned around and left. He stood in front of this bright and brightly lit street, without a sound. As Su Yuming walked into the crowd, he vaguely heard a burst of curses, get out of here, die outside, never come back. Su Yuming smiled in his eyes as he was about to leave and had to be scolded by his third brother. If his temperament were not too strong, he would not have been calculated by anyone. He is also the root of the three spirits, and even more talented than himself. The foundation of the Su family should have earned him a place. One day later, Su Yuming arrived at a deserted tomb in the swamp outside the mountain. This was the place where he harvested and inherited talismans. The other person was an unknown senior who taught him talismans. After offering incense and wine, he offered chickens, ducks, fish, and geese as a sacrifice before taking them away. Even with a flick of spiritual power on his sleeve, he wiped away all traces to prevent outsiders from bothering him. After completing all of this, he sealed off a wilderness cave and prepared to sit here. Located in the swamp, once you sit down, you can be transported to the bottom of the swamp mud with the medium-level burial spell you have pre-arranged. The bones will not be devoured by monsters, but will only be corrupted by poisonous creatures at the bottom of the mud, leaving no white bones. Buzz. Just as Su Yuming smoothly entered a state of calm, the transmission talisman on his body suddenly flickered with a spiritual light, and a line of text the size of a tadpole quickly emerged under his spiritual power. 19 younger brothers, come back. I have found a young and beautiful fairy for you, who can leave behind your immortal lineage. You can leave as soon as you go, and you also need to leave a future for yourself. Su Yuming originally refused. Ding, when cultivating immortals, one should marry a wife. Having multiple wives and concubines brings good fortune and longevity. Please marry this young fairy as your wife and reward her with birth of talent. System. Su Yuming was dumbfounded. He had traveled through 53 years, from childhood to old age. Before the decline of qi and blood, did the system appear. You told me earlier, big brother. If I had known that getting married would enable the system, I have been creating a cultivation family through self-reliance over the years. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Fallen Immortal Clan and the Lost Taoist Couple. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Fallen Immortal Clan and the Lost Taoist Couple. I am old and frail, and my future is cut off. If I were truly a fairy with spiritual roots and unparalleled beauty, there would be countless people chasing after me. How would they choose me? Su Yuming felt that there was still something fishy about it. Bang! He smashed the adobe in front of him with one palm of his bare hand and stepped out. The Qinyan boots under his feet released a low-grade spell called the Wind Technique, making his feet light and agile. In the blink of an eye, he walked out several miles away. He had to go back to Yendang Mountain Market and ask Su Yulong for clarification. I wonder if this old boy is making fun of himself. Su Yuming's footsteps stopped before leaving the swampy forest. Come out, I've been following you all the way. Aren't you both tired? Dao Yu is really clever, but judging from your appearance, it doesn't seem like you have much money. If it weren't for the fact that our brothers haven't opened for a while, I really wouldn't want to take advantage of you. The figure behind the tree flashed, and two twin cultivators with similar appearances walked out with a cold light in their eyes. Their face had a fierce smile on their faces, indicating that they had already regarded Su Yuming as a meal on the plate. It turned out to be you, the Qi family brothers, who were offering a reward of 50 spiritual stones in the local market. Su Yuming remained calm at this moment, as both of them had 7 levels of cultivation in Qi refining. Even without elixirs and talismans in hand, they did not have any magical tools to weigh their hands. However, he was at least one of the 4 sons of Yendang, known as the Su family's 3 wonders, and possessed 3 major trump cards. Since Dao Yu knew it was us, he didn't dodge or even take out the magic weapon. Has he already accepted his fate? Qi Fang waved with his right hand, holding a flying sword in his hand and sending it forward with his right hand. The high-quality flying sword turned into a dark fire and flew in. The left hand slapped the ground suddenly. The ground trembled. 5 consecutive rock spikes suddenly appeared at Su Yuming's feet 10 feet away, and a 10-foot-long high-quality magic rock spike. If you don't dodge in time, you will be instantly tied into tomatoes on sticks. And at the moment of leaping into the air, the flying sword had already reached Su Yuming's throat. Su Yuming lifted his left hand and the head-sized fireball instantly collided with the mid-range flying sword. After hitting it, it suddenly shattered, and the explosive power instantly shook the flying sword away. After he dodged and landed, his hands had already landed on the ground simultaneously. Thunderbolt Fireball Technique, are you Su Yuming from Yendang Mountain? Qi Fang's face changed greatly, and he also recognized Su Yuming's famous skill. Second brother, don't keep your hands, stick to your ideas, and make quick decisions. Okay. Next to him, Qi Ming nodded heavily, waved his hands, and a long spear shone with cold light. Following his footsteps, he stepped forward and quickly killed Su Yuming. Dang! With a loud bang, A dirt house that had risen from the ground and covered an area of 3 to 4 zhang suddenly enveloped the two people in close proximity. In the moment when the peak formed, the surroundings were pitch black. Shua, at the moment when the medium-quality magic weapon's long spear pierced into the air, a golden light flickered and a sword aura pierced through Qi Ming's eyebrows. Blood splattered, and the solidified dungeon was instantly shattered by the flying sword outside, revealing a glimmer of light. Standing outside the top-grade magic dungeon technique, Qi Fong stared at his younger brother lying on the ground, his face instantly turning pale. "Amin!" he shouted as his right hand grabbed a talisman from the storage bag and sprinkled it towards Su Yuming. Hooking. The intermediate-level magic chain fireball technique continuously produces more than 30 head-sized fireballs, like flying fire meteors attacking Su Yuming through the air. Su Yuming lifted the long spear from the ground with his toes, clenched it tightly with both hands, and swung it fiercely. Buzz, the golden light technique instantly covered the barrel of the gun, and the gun shot out like a dragon, smashing several fireballs in an instant. When it was retracted and rotated in front of it for protection, Qi Fong on the opposite side had already pulled out his leg and ran away. Whoosh! It's a pity that he couldn't run faster than this magical weapon spear, which enhanced the escape speed of the golden light. The tip of the gun pierced through his back in an instant, nailing him dozens of steps away. Su Yuming took a step forward, grabbed Qi Ming's body in his hand, and quickly stepped forward to grab Qi Fong's body. Looking at the two medium-quality magic weapons and 2 storage bags he had just received, he felt relieved. Just as you abandoned your determination to die, you came to your door to deliver a surprise. Okay, all the relics from the past have been left to the family. Let's see what you have gained. Can I be prepared for emergencies? In a moment, Su Yuming looked at the storage bag containing about 100 spirit stones, 2 bottles of revitalization pills, and 2 pairs of healing ointments, feeling somewhat disappointed. Whether it's casual cultivation or not, I really don't have much wealth. He flipped through the cultivation techniques of the two of them again. This Qi Fong, like him, should be a triple spirit root cultivator, majoring in the fire-based Qi refining technique of Liang Lion Roar, and can at most practice to the peak of Qi refining. Qi Ming cultivates spiritual body techniques, but he relies entirely on elixirs and spiritual power to polish them on a daily basis, and has no practical skills. His major is a soil-style Qi cultivation technique called Body of a Rock. If Su Yuming remembers correctly, this should be the only one possessed by the 5 Beast sect of the Golden Core sect within 1,000,000 miles, but unfortunately, he has only reached the 8th level of Qi refining. He looks down on the cultivation techniques that are not yet in the foundation construction period, but if 2 cultivation techniques are thrown into the market, he can still mix 180 spiritual stones. Who makes me feel shy now? Shua, walking in the wilderness, Su Yuming walked through the mountains and forests with 2 heads wrapped in rags wrapped around his waist. Even if there were spiritual spies around, there wouldn't be any blind and reckless ghosts who dared to provoke him. After all, the fresh blood on these 2 heads proves that this old man's cultivation is not easy to deal with. Before entering the market, Su Yuming finally refined the mid-range magic weapon Fire Lion sword used by Qi Fong. In this way, if he encountered an enemy cultivator with the same level of combat power as Qi Refining 7, he could use his self-developed Golden Light sword technique to strike one sword at a time. At the Su family talisman shop, Su Yulong was looking at the beautiful woman Xiu in front of him, with pear blossoms and rain. Shui Yulong, you have come to a clear understanding. If you want to seek the protection of over 800 mortal members of the Su family, you must marry my 19 younger brother Su Yuming. Shui Yulong immediately bowed down and said, if it weren't for the prestige of the Su family's foundation, my entire Shui family would have been slaughtered by thieves long ago. With the kindness of the Su family, I am willing to marry Senior Su Yuming. As she spoke, she looked up with apricot eyes, willow eyebrows, red lips, and a beautiful face. Her snake waist and goose neck were plump and round, and her beauty was top-notch. Even the weathered Su Yulong couldn't help but marvel at the good fortune of the old 19. In his early years, he was alone and proudly refused to marry. In old age, one can still marry this beautiful woman. Old 19, at least they also have spiritual roots, and they have all the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. Thank you very much. What do you think? It's just that my cultivation was poor and I only refined 1 layer of qi. When Su Yulong turned around, he saw Su Yuming with 2 heads hanging from his waist and approaching in the dust, standing on the street. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Getting married, diligence can make up for clumsiness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Getting married, diligence can make up for clumsiness. Oh, old 19, you're already quite old and still learning how to fight. How little did these 2 of them have eyes that led them to find the top 3 talents of your Su family. Su Yulong stepped forward and patted Su Yuming's shoulder, casually took the cloth bag, opened it and looked at it, then froze. Qi brothers. Old 19, old and strong. These 2 brothers, one is good at spiritual body techniques, using long spears, and the other is good at swordsmanship and earth techniques, but they have harmed many cultivators in our mountains and seas, and you have solved them alone. Offering a reward of 50 spirit stones, 3rd brother, as a personal gift to you. This doesn't work. Su Yulong quickly thought of evading. Just think of it as the reward for finding me a marriage. After all, the matchmaker also needs to give me a wedding gift. Ha ha ha. Su Yulong listened with a smile on his face and couldn't hide it. Okay, then I'll accept your gift. However, old 19, this is more than 50 spirit stones. Not long ago, the Qi brothers robbed the caravan of the Huang family in the Red Crab Forest, and they offered a reward of 200 spirit stones to buy their heads. Your 3rd brother, I can make a lot of money this time. As he spoke, he handed over a storage bag and said, this is a gift from my 3rd brother to you for your wedding. I know your kid likes drawing talismans, but the talisman pen inside makes it easy for me to find. Su Yuming nodded and said, 3rd brother, I'll take that person with me. Do you not need your clan to prepare a marriage for you? It's not appropriate for an old man of 50 to marry an 18 beautiful woman. Isn't this just a joke for nothing? Why don't you treat me to a wedding wine? Okay, then borrow Sanji's yard for a while. From the beginning to the end, Su Yuming didn't have the time to talk to Shui Yulong. Shui Yulong has been paying attention to the appearance of her husband. Su Yuming, the young and famous Tianjiao of the Su family in Yendang Mountain, was also one of the 4 sons of Yendang Mountain in his early years. He was one of the 6 major foundation-building families in Yendang Mountain and had more than 100 or 200 young qi refining cultivators of the same generation. He was able to be ranked among the top 4 and achieved the title of the Su family's 3 wonders. Naturally, he was not an ordinary person. If it weren't for being ambushed in his early years, Shui Yulong felt that he shouldn't have been so sad in vicissitudes, but rather had built a foundation in middle age, enjoyed 200 years, and become a divine and immortal. She thought this would be a self-deprecating old man, but to her surprise, he was so decisive in his actions. How could I meet her before getting married, with 2 bloody heads hanging from my waist? Later, she was even more shocked when she learned that Su Yuming had left all his treasures in his family and had killed the Qi brothers with his bare hands. Such combat power, not to mention invincibility in refining Qi, can also lead to more advanced battles. Towards dusk, the ritual music is playing. The monks walking on the street couldn't help but stop and observe. This is the shop of the Su family on Yendang Mountain, right? Who got married today? Guess who took the concubine, otherwise we should have held a grand banquet and not be so low-key. Let's go and get a drink. In addition to dozens of cultivators sent to join the fun and please Su Yuming, the only ones attending Su Yuming's wedding were Su Yulong, the head of the Su family's talisman, Su Yuhang and Su Yusheng, the first-rank intermediate-level Talisman Masters, as well as 10 Qi refining cultivators affiliated with the Su family. Everyone, please go back. Rejecting the idea of a group of young people causing trouble in the bridal chamber, Su Yuming returned to the back room with a strong smell of alcohol. At this moment, Shui Yulong, wearing a phoenix crown and rosy robe, was already sitting by the bed, feeling uneasy. Su Yuming picked up Yu Rui with one hand and went to remove her red hat, looking at the beautiful and charming bride. He said, "I am not a bloodthirsty person. Thieves robbed away, and I am forced to fight back, so I must kill myself in one blow. Moreover, the Qi brothers are fighting in the swamp area today, and there are often my Su brothers coming in and out. If other lower-level cultivators encounter them, they will definitely die. I took action to end them, which can also be considered as a way to eliminate the calamity of Yendang Mountain." Shui Yulongfang's lips lightly parted, and she heard Su Yuming continue to speak. "In my early years, my meridians were damaged, but in the cultivation of talismans, I have reached the limit of a first-level medium grade. Although I have no property, my martial arts skills can still ensure your safety. You are a cultivator from the water family of the Cloud Ranch in the White Clouds and 5 Mountains. Since more than 800 ordinary people from your water family are already under the protection of the Su family, they will not be bullied if you become my wife for a day. Thank you very much, husband." Upon hearing this, Shui Yulong's eyes turned red and she choked as she stood up to bow to Su Yuming, only to be embraced by Su Yuming. "Madam, it's already late at night. We should all be the gift of Duke Zhou." Shui Yulong heard her face turn red, and the blood-red aura emanating from her skin was more like that delicate and dripping peach. If she didn't pick it now, when would she wait? 3 strokes of the sun. Eventually, his qi and blood declined, and even though Su Yuming was a cultivator who had been polished by the muscles, bones, and blood of demon beasts in his early years, he could not fully enjoy himself. He spread out his 5 fingers and saw a flash of light in front of him. Su Yuming forces belonging to Foundation Building Family. Su family on Yendang Mountain cultivation. Qi refining 7 levels limit age. 53/60th sub-profession. First level intermediate level talisman, capable of breaking through, spirit root. Medium gold spirit root, damaged, medium fire spirit root, damaged, medium earth spirit root, reparable, high-quality spells. Earth prison technique, golden light sword technique, thunderbolt fireball technique middle level spells. Rock spike, golden swordsmanship, multiple fireball spell lower level spells. Dust removal, aurora, earth wall, fireball talent. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 3/10, Taoist couple. Shuyalong, cultivation. Refining 1 layer of qi. Is there an additional system data panel? With an extra talent, diligence can make up for weakness. Is it possible that there will still be 7 more charges needed in the future? Gulu Gulu, Su Yuming gazed at the blood-red kanji cooking in front of him, thinking. Middle grade earth spirit root, repaired. First level intermediate level talisman master, breakthrough. Accompanied by a crackling sound inside his body, Su Yuming sat in the courtyard, with great luck and a cup of tea, before finally exhaling a long breath of turbid air. Their Su family's Yen Dang Yun Chi Ju belongs to the top-notch skill that has no attributes and can be cultivated to build a foundation. It was passed down by their ancestor Yen Dang Zhenren back then, with a total of 9 levels. He is currently in the 7th level limit state. Previously, all 3 spiritual roots were damaged, as if there was an invisible obstacle that prevented his promotion. No matter how much spiritual power you accumulated, it would dissipate in the moment of hitting the bottleneck. But now, after running for a week, he found that the bottleneck leading to the 8th level of qi refining had disappeared. Following the routine, he was sure to break through within a few days. As for the realm of a top-grade talisman, for him, it was also a natural outcome, with smooth cultivation and elevated mental state. With years of experience in making talismans, it was also an easy task. Buzz. After a golden sword shadow was injected into a blank talisman by him, in just a dozen breaths, a 3-inch golden light small sword shape quickly condensed on the talisman paper, which was the top-grade talisman. The Golden Light Sword Talisman. Golden Light Protector, Sword Energy Crisscrossing, 5 times Escape Speed, Invincible Fighting Skills. At least 60 spirit stones can be sold in the local market. Su Yuming casually put it into a storage bag, with a hint of joy in his eyes. When he got married, he awakened his golden finger, broke through and found a way to make money. The road ahead is promising. How about updating one chapter every morning and one chapter at noon during the new book period? There will be more popularity on the shelves. If you like your brothers and sisters, you can get more monthly recommendation tickets. Thank you very much. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Getting married and receiving gifts, being shy, impatient, and diligent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Getting married and receiving gifts, being shy, impatient, and diligent. Towards noon, Yulong came once and brought a family gift. About 30 members of the clan sent a separate congratulatory gift, as well as a 500 spirit stone congratulatory gift given to him as a first-order intermediate level talisman by the clan. In addition, a water jade pendant was prepared for Shui Yulong, who had married into the door. This is a medium-level magical tool that can withstand 10 attacks in the middle stage of qi refining. Even in the later stage of qi refining, it can withstand 1 attack, making it a small masterpiece. Secondly, there was a letter from Su Yanbing, stating that Su Yuming's storage bag had been rewarded by his family. However, in gratitude for his years of education and contributions to the clan, he used his family's contributions to exchange a rune pen for Su Yuming as a wedding gift. High-quality wolf hair brush, such a big hand brush, worth at least 300 spirit stones. It seems that the ancestor wants to cultivate the current head of the Yen soldier's family. Su Yuming smiled and reached out to use his spiritual power, starting to refine it. This top-quality wolf hair pen can help him increase his chances of successfully crafting talismans by 15%. In Su Yulong's gift, there were a dozen smoke-blowing talismans, a box of demonic blood cinnabar, a bottle of blood element spell water, and without 250 or 60 spirit stones, they couldn't be taken down at all. Blowing smoke talisman paper is used to make top-grade talismans. It takes a lot of connections to obtain a dozen or 100 spirit stones. After all, this is a popular item, and there are not many top-grade talismans in the 6 mountains of Yendang. This item is also used by mid-grade talismans to improve their success rate in making talismans. A medium-grade talisman is worth between 7 or 8 spirit stones and 10 or so spirit stones. As long as you can successfully create 15 or more talismans, it is considered break-even. If you can make more than 20 talismans, it is earned. In his early years, Su Yuming also received a dozen smoke-blowing talismans as a family reward when he broke through the intermediate-level talisman master. This was his second time. Demon Blood Cinnabar, according to the level of the demon beast, is naturally a top-grade demon blood cinnabar that can be sold for a sky-high price of 50 or 60 spiritual stones. This item is a necessary item for making top-grade talismans. As for the last item, it is naturally a bubble hair talisman paper, a manifestation of cinnabar, and a blood element spell water for sealing spells. This item flows out of a pool of blood soaked in the corpse of a demon beast, and is a top-grade talisman making alchemy in the spring, a secret transmission of the 5-beast sect. Just this bottle alone is enough for him to make 100 talismans, worth over 100 spiritual stones. It's really bleeding, third brother. Su Yuming sighed and understood third brother's intentions. It was as a gift for his elder brother to find himself when he got married. As for the other spirit fruit spirit stones, Su Yuming exchanged them together for more than 380 yuan. He summoned the store attendants with a transmission symbol, exchanged 180 spiritual stones for a bottle of Guban Peiyuan pill to assist in cultivation, exchanged 100 spiritual stones for qi and blood pills and revitalization pills, and exchanged the last 100 spiritual stones for 4 doses of kidney-nourishing and bone-strengthening soup. Old 19, the qi and blood pill keeps qi and blood abundant, while the revitalization pill replenishes consumption. He needs to make talismans overnight. I understand that the Peiyuan pill, which assists in cultivation, is not for his newlywed Taoist couple. He has already cut off his path and is willing to spend a lot of money on the Taoist couple right after getting married. As for the final nourishing kidney and bone soup, it mainly nourishes that aspect. It seems that after the lineage of the old 19 will not be cut off, some of us in the Jade generation will want withered trees to spring, ha ha ha. Upon learning the news, Su Yulong couldn't help but burst out laughing. For 7 consecutive days, Su Yuming and Shui Yulong did not leave the wing room. The daily interaction between ears and temples also made Shui Yulong understand Su Yuming's formidable fighting skills. Su Yuming was also pleased that Shui Yulong could open up her heart and tell everyone about the depth of the water family in the Cloud Ranch. She is practicing a water technique called Si Muyin technique that can directly reach the 9th level of qi refining. Unfortunately, only the first 5 levels were used. After the water family was destroyed, all the storage bags of senior cultivators were taken away, and their inheritance was also taken away. Therefore, only one extremely low-talented Shuyilong and hundreds of mortals escaped, and their enemies would not ask much. After all, the Su family, which has been passed down for 600 years with a double foundation fake elixir, is not something that ordinary people can afford to provoke. Madam, I will ask your clan for the first 3 layers of the wild goose swallowing cloud qi technique. Your cultivation level is still low, and you can transfer it within 1 or 2 years. Both martial arts are water techniques, which have similar skills and should not delay your efforts. Leaning her head against Su Yuming's shoulder, Shui Yulong felt the warmth of her face. Everything depends on my husband. In addition, tomorrow I will take out all the refined talismans and exchange them for spirit stones in the local market. Then, we will search for a cave with abundant spiritual energy to live in. We will keep bothering our 3rd brother here, and occupying the side room where the cultivators of the clan settle is not good. Shui Yulong dared not move. She always felt that this old man in her family had become much more powerful these days. However, she also understood that if she and her clan wanted to establish a foothold in the Su family, they had to rely on her husband in their arms. If they could give birth to a son and a half daughters for him, the clan's qi refining technique might open the door for her. Madam, it's still early today, let's rest now. Shui Yulong's face struggled for a moment, but she still let Su Yuming play tricks on her. However, as she lay down, her delicate body trembled slightly. Su Yuming forces belonging to Foundation Building Family. Su family on Yendang Mountain cultivation. Qi refining 7-layer limit, can be broken through, age. 53 60th sub-profession. First level high-grade talisman master spirit roots. Medium-grade gold spirit roots, damaged, medium-grade fire spirit roots, reparable, medium-grade earth spirit roots talent. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 55 out of 100, Taoist couple. Shuyilong, cultivation. Refining 1 layer of qi, everything comes naturally. Then, from head to toe, there was a refreshing sensation. Husband. Shui Yulong, who was originally drowsy, suddenly woke up and looked at Su Yuming with a surprised expression on her face. Did your husband break through? Well, there are 8 layers of gas refining. Su Yuming sat on the bed, slowly stabilizing his luck and reaching out to caress her delicate face. Madam, to celebrate, I have decided to do it again for my husband, he said. Shuyilong's heart is wide open. Originally, Su Yuming's spiritual roots were damaged and he had cut off his path. He had broken through the 8th level of Qi refining. Does this mean that he still has hope of building a foundation? If marrying an old man in his 50s is a shame for a cultivator, but if marrying a foundation-building cultivator, the 5 spirit roots refined a layer of Qi, and Shui Yulong, who was in decline in his family, felt that he had taken great luck. After tonight, Shui Yulong felt that she should treat him better. We are going through the signing process and the efficiency is quite high. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. In order to build a foundation, the old man wants to be a person of integrity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. In order to build a foundation, the old man wants to be a person of integrity. The next morning, Su Yuming changed into a cloak and restrained his breakthrough aura to the extreme. If it weren't for the spiritual exploration of the foundation-building cultivator, others would not have been able to break through his years of disguise. In recent days, he has made a total of 30 talismans and successfully created 10 talismans. Including the previous Golden Light Sword Talisman, there are a total of 4 Golden Light Sword Talismans, 4 Dungeon Talismans, and 2 Thunderbolt Fireball Talismans. In his opinion, 500 or 600 Spirit Stones should be readily available. Dao Yu, how do you sell this Water Gun Talisman? Su Yuming also saw the scattered cultivators selling talismans at the roadside stall. He immediately approached to inquire and inquired before selling talismans, which was also his daily routine. You can get a 10% discount on buying 10 spiritual stones. Old expert. Su Yuming pretended to ponder and said, what if I want high-quality talismans? Oh, you found the right person. The cultivator immediately leaned forward and lowered his voice. I have a top-grade Fire Crow talisman that can unleash 3 zhang of Fire Crow and burn all things. How about selling it to you for only 70 spirit stones? Taoist friend, ordinary top-grade talismans only cost 50 or 60 spiritual stones. Your Fire Crow talisman is not as powerful as the Golden Light Sword Rain technique and Waterfall Impact technique, it's really too expensive. Su Yuming shook his head. Hey, then it's a bit less, at least 65 yuan, no matter how little it is. Su Yuming struggled for a moment, then shook his head and said, I'm really shy in my pocket. Goodbye. He quickly lifted his foot and left after clasping his fists and bowing, which immediately caused the vendor's disdain. It turns out he's a poor ghost, blind for nothing. After Su Yuming left, he did not immediately enter the nearby shops selling talismans, but instead inquired about prices one by one at the scattered repair stalls. Good guy, there are quite a few high-quality talismans circulating from other cultivation markets. Among them, the Waterfall Impact Talisman and the Gold Light Sword Rain Talisman are the most popular, as they are both large-scale attack talismans that can annihilate herds of beasts. They can fight against multiple enemies or retreat to protect themselves, priced at around 70 spirit stones. Secondly, there is the high-quality Tree Net Entanglement Talisman in the Wood series. Unlike the mid-level spell of Tree Vine Entanglement, single-point entanglement turns into a several zhang large net. Even large monsters like lions, tigers, bears, and leopards are instantly bound, making it a divine-level talisman for hunting in the wild, priced at 60 spirit stones. The common Earth-type high-quality Earth Rock Thrust Talismans and Fire-type high-quality Fire Crow Talismans on the market cannot be sold for this price. After all, the Fire-Earth Spirit Root is the most common spirit root in this inland land of mountains and rivers. When making talismans, it also depends on the alignment of spiritual roots and the sealing of spells. These 3 talismans of mine are not yet circulating on the market. On the contrary, Thunderbolt Fireball, Golden Light Sword, and Earth Prison are all my signature spells. In my early years, I combined various mid-level spells and created them myself. If they were circulating outside, the world would know that I had surpassed the top-level talismans. It's too eye-catching. Su Yuming, who was attacked by someone during his arrogance and had his spiritual roots destroyed, decided to sell the talismans to his own store. Although the price may be lower, fortunately in the future, we will not see enemies using our own refined talismans to attack and kill us. The fire-earth double spiritual roots have been repaired, but the golden spiritual roots are not yet available. The road ahead is long and arduous. Diligence can make up for clumsiness 10 times, and diligence can make up for clumsiness 50 times. They have repaired one type of spiritual root for me, breaking through the realm of a talisman master in cultivation. Could it be that after 100 attempts of diligence can make up for clumsiness, they can also bring 2 breakthroughs? Su Yuming couldn't help but feel that these golden fingers were too pleasant. He reached out to support his waist, but unfortunately he was not in his prime, otherwise he wouldn't have had to leave the level today. I need to find some double cultivation techniques and things to replenish essence, chi, and blood, otherwise my body and bones won't be able to handle it. He returned to Su's talisman shop. I handed the storage bag to Su Yulong casually. Old 19. Su Yulong just glanced at him with his spiritual sense and then looked at him in shock. Did you refine these 11 top-grade talismans? The Golden Light Sword Talisman, Earth Prison Talisman, and Thunderbolt Fireball Talisman are really not wrong. Ha ha ha. Old 19, I think you should have gotten married long ago. If you had gotten married earlier, it wouldn't have been until now, he said as he reached out and patted Su Yuming's shoulder. Okay, now our Su family has the second top-grade talisman master. Upon hearing this, Yuyan Patriarch will surely be overjoyed. You wait, I will immediately summon the family. Su Yuming reached out a hand and placed it on Su Yulong's arm. Tomorrow, I will go back to the mountain to meet with Yuyan ancestor. You should buy this talisman first, my third brother. If I break through, please keep it hidden. These talismans will be distributed to the clan members or sold after the ancestor's order is issued. Su Yulong's smile dissipated as he looked at him with complex eyes. I understand. In the early years, you were ambushed by a thief and destroyed your foundation. This is because you have a long mind. I don't want Mu Xiu to be in the forest. Third brother knows, you should go back to the mountain on your own. Old 19, your spells are quite powerful. I'll give you 65 spirit stones each, for a total of 715 spirit stones. After receiving the spirit stone, Su Yuming's bag was once again full, and he smiled as he wanted to lift his foot back to the courtyard. But Su Yulong, who had finished transmitting the message, stopped him and said, Old 19, I will go back to the mountain with you now. Your breakthrough is of great significance. Adding an additional top-grade talisman can enhance my family's heritage. As a talisman-making elder, you must not be able to escape. In addition, you have created 3 top-grade spells to seal and make talismans, which are more powerful than common talismans on the market and difficult to deal with. Okay, but I'm going back to the mountain with Yulong. Su Yuming knew he would have such a performance. A first-class talisman, in this wild goose swaying mountains, couldn't even count with one hand. A top-quality talisman who can refine at least a few hundred talismans per year can create value of at least thousands of spirit stones. It should be noted that even if it is a foundation building pill, there are only 10,000 spirit stones commonly seen in the market. A top-grade talisman can save up the capital to purchase foundation building pills within 3 years. By the way, Qionghai Patriarch has sent a message asking if you have any needs that can be raised with your family. Su Yuming fell silent for a moment and said, I want to exchange the wild goose swallowing cloud qi technique for the Taoist priests to cultivate to the 9th level of qi refining. In addition, I need spiritual fruits or elixirs to replenish essence, energy, and blood. He didn't dare to mention the double cultivation technique. Currently, there are 2 founders of the Su family in Yendang Mountain. Qionghai Patriarch of the Qiong generation and Yuyan Patriarch of the Yuzi generation. Qionghai Patriarch is over 130 years old and is a living fossil of the family. Yuyan Patriarch ranks 2nd and is also an elder. How could anyone ask their family elders for dual cultivation techniques? Even Su Yuming, who has been practicing for 53 years, can't hold his face. Shoo! Flying sword soars in the sky. In the later stage of qi refining, cultivators can achieve a speed of up to 80 miles per hour. With the assistance of the fast wind technique, they can achieve a speed of up to 120 miles per hour. At this moment, Su Yiming used the golden light sword technique, and his escape speed skyrocketed to 400 miles in an hour, almost comparable to that of a qi refining great perfection cultivator. Old 19, your escape speed is really amazing. If it weren't for the golden light sword technique that only enhances your escape speed by a few tens of breaths, you would almost be invincible in refining qi. After more than 100 breaths, Su Yulong behind him caught up. He has 9 levels of cultivation for refining qi, and he is also stepping on a top-quality flying sword. His spiritual power and evasion speed are naturally superior to Su Yiming. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Building a Foundation and Becoming an Elder in the Making of Talismans. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Building a Foundation and Becoming an Elder in the Making of Talismans. The terrain of Yendang Mountain is like a wild goose spreading its wings and soaring high, crashing down to the top of the mountain. The converging pair of wings are Yanluo Peak and Qixia Peak, which are the training caves of Qianghai and Yuyan ancestors, respectively. At Yanshou Peak, it is the location of the family leader and clan elders meeting hall. Shu. Flying away for several hours, 2 streams of light, one in front and one behind, carried 3 people straight through the clan formation, flying all the way to Yanshou Peak and stopping in front of the council hall. Old 19, today my older brother has been exposed to your light. If it weren't for my Su family elder, he wouldn't have had the right to fly away directly in this 3rd-level yellow sky cloud formation. Sangu was joking. If it weren't for the dozen kitchen smoke talismans you gave me, I wouldn't have been able to break through smoothly. You also have a share of this credit. Su Yiming landed on the ground and glanced at the obedient and sensible Shui Yulong beside him. You're waiting here. Family council, surnames and collateral members are not eligible to enter. Even if they are legitimate descendants, unless they are Su Yanbing, one of the 4 sons of Yendang, who can definitely become the leader of the family core, they are not qualified to enter. The cultivation family, especially those that have been passed down for hundreds of years, have strict rules. The Su family of Yendang Mountain has been passed down for 615 years. Today, there are 150,000 members of the clan, 600 qi refining cultivators, and 2 people building foundations. Standing on top of the peak and overlooking below, there are also scattered thatched cottages and caves among the pavilions and towers. The legitimate descendants almost all live at the foot of the 3 peaks, and only near the mountain gate are the residences of collateral and non-surname cultivators. As for mortals, they all live in the Su family town at the foot of the mountain. It's the 3rd and 19th who have returned, right? Entering the conference hall, the prominent figure sitting in the seat was the Jade Smoke ancestor. Yuzi Dai Xing Air, only 64 years old, was in the early stage of foundation construction. I have seen the Jade Smoke ancestor. When bowing, Su Yiming lifted his head and looked at the more than 20 people sitting in the council hall. Their breath was above the 8th level of qi refining, making them the backbone of the family. Old 19, you were attacked in your early years and cut off your path. We thought you had abandoned yourself and become completely lonely. We never expected that you could further your cultivation, break through the 8th level of qi refining, and even become a first-class talisman master. On this side of the family, we are willing to reward you with a top-notch magical tool, the flying sword and cooking smoke. This is the sword of the Qianghai ancestor in his early years, along with 1,000 spirit stones and a bottle of essence element pill, to promote you to the family's talisman-making elder. Thank you, ancestor. Su Yiming clenched his fists and knew that if he stayed at Yendang Mountain for a day, he could be considered a member of the Su family. Unlike the indifference and competition of other cultivation families, the Su family still has some warmth. Old 19, after becoming the elder of talisman making, you can dispatch and guide 17 talisman making masters in your family, and you need to submit 5 top-grade talismans to the family every month. The annual salary is 500 spiritual stones. Would you be willing to do so? 500 spirit stones have been restored to the treatment he received when Su Yuming became the fourth son of Yen Dang. As a member of the family, I am naturally willing to serve the family. Alright, as the head of the charm-making hall, I personally give you 3 dozen pieces of smoke-blowing talisman paper and 1 volume of complete collection of chi refining spells. I hope you can make more contributions to your family. In addition, your monk's martial arts have been bestowed upon you. You can go to the library to receive a martial arts skill. Thank you, ancestor. Su Yuming clenched his fists again, then gestured to his old acquaintances around him before lifting his foot and leaving. Uncle 19, how could you break through quietly? I'm willing to help you clean up the dust when you come back this time. 19 Uncle, back then you taught me how to make talismans hand in hand. I wonder if I could learn talismanship under your guidance. Congratulations, old 19. You have endured all your hardships and made progress. The peak of your chi refining is expected in the future. The transmission symbol hanging from his waist was scorching hot, and Su Yuming received dozens of transmissions in a row. Good guy, after breaking through, my status have also skyrocketed. However, Su Yuming still had lingering palpitations. With such a strong family influence, it was not a coincidence that he was ambushed by thieves when he went out. If news were to spread again, he was afraid of encountering danger when going out. Su Yuming was guided by the younger members of his clan all the way to a cave below Qixia Peak, which had a unique first-level spiritual spring. There were rockeries and spiritual flowers, and servants came to clean it every day. This is also Su Yuming's future residence, which can be considered the best place for cultivation besides the second-level spiritual spring at the foot of the 3 peaks. There are no more than 20 such caves in the Su family of Yendang Mountain. Husband. Shui Yulong, who was waiting obediently by the cliff, was wearing a plain robe with a Su emblem on her chest and skirt. The patterns on her robe also flashed with inferior artifacts, indicating that she had received a reward within her clan. Today, I am promoted to the position of Elder of the Charm Control. The autumn weather is refreshing, and we will return to the new cave to practice. After speaking, Su Yuming lowered his body and grabbed his white jade-like feet, quickly flying towards the cave. The token on the waist surged, releasing a layer of spiritual power to activate the first-level dreamy array guarded by the cave. Not long after, the mountain spirit rabbit was plucked away, the spirit deer was running making a whimper, the flowing water was gurgling, and the morning sun hung at the top of Qixia Peak. Inside the cave, Su Yuming started making talismans with bare arms, feeling in his heart that this essence pill was truly powerful. There are still 10 left now, he needs to use them as soon as possible. Strive to make up for your shortcomings 100 times before your next outing. Who, after successfully refining 3 golden light sword talismans in one breath, Su Yuming bent his finger and a flying carpet flew down into the air, firmly resting on Shui Yulong's body. Listening to her peaceful breathing, Su Yuming's face was full of satisfaction. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 65/100, Yulong is really my great hero. When I build the foundation in the future, I have to find a way to make her cultivation higher and compensate her. As Su Yuming spoke, he thought of the high-priced beauty pills in the local market. Perhaps he could purchase a bottle himself, which could also be considered as a reward for her many days of service. With a movement in his heart, Su Yuming took out the transmission note. Lift a finger and write a line of text on it. Reward 100 spirit stones, purchase top-quality double cultivation techniques and beauty pills, After completing the talisman making process and running for 3 consecutive weeks, Su Yuming replenished his spiritual power by 70%. Practicing at the edge of this level of spiritual spring, the speed is 5 times faster than usual, and with my 2 types of spiritual roots restored, I am not far from the 9th level of chi refining. Probably the next time I can make up for my shortcomings with diligence, I will be able to break through smoothly. Ding, it seems that your Taoist couple is carrying secrets. Please make her take the initiative to fall in love and be honest with each other. Reward. A flash of spiritual light. New task. Su Yuming looked back at Shui Yulong, who had a bright jade back behind her. After being married for many days, she still had secrets she didn't know about. Is it the century-old inheritance of the Cloud Ranch Water House? End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 3 Superior Spells and 3 New Talismans. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. 3 Superior Spells and 3 New Talismans. It's another day of pouring out all her resources. Although Shui Yulong's cultivation talent is not high, she has a strong understanding of Taoism. In just a few days, she managed to complete the conversion of the wild goose swaying cloud chi technique. After gaining a wisp of wild goose-like spiritual energy, Su Yuming showed great compassion towards her. Not only did he use his spiritual power to cleanse her meridians and orifices, but he also often reminded her of the important aspects of her cultivation during times of joy. Husband. Breathing like a flowing thread, Shui Yulong obediently snuggled up in Su Yuming's arms, her eyes streaming with light as she stared at her aging face without any resentment. I am a member of the Shui clan and now I am assigned to Shujia town at the foot of the mountain. I want to go and have a look. As expected, when you go, I will ask Su Wu to bring some gifts. In addition, you can go to the executive hall to borrow a stone to search for immortals and test the spiritual roots and talents of those Water Clan people. If there are 1 or 2 people, it's also good to recruit them to the mountain and become attendants. Shui Yulong was extremely grateful. Thank you very much for your consideration, husband. You and I are one entity, and I have no direct relatives in the clan. You, who are over 800 members of the clan, will be my external relatives in the future, and we will prosper together. Shui Yulong's body trembled lightly, and she pressed her fragrant lips to his ear. Didn't my husband want to change his way of life recently? Su Yuming's eyes suddenly lit up, and then he saw the Taoist couple rolling down from the bed. After Shui Yulong descended the mountain, Su Yuming sat inside the cave and began to look through the complete collection of chi refining spells bestowed by Yuyan Laozu, which recorded 153 types of spells collected by the Su family over 600 years. In addition to common 5-element spells such as gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, there are also body techniques such as rapid wind and divine movement, as well as common living spells such as dust removal, lighting, and wind. Even uncommon spells such as wind, thunder, and ice have more than a dozen. At first glance, Su Yuming was only interested in the 3 series magic of gold, fire, and earth where his spiritual roots were located. Gold-based top-grade magic. Golden light sword rain art, fire-based top-grade magic. Fire crow art, earth-type top-grade magic. Earth rock spike. He had known all of these before, but when he mastered mid-level spells, he discovered the opportunity to create his own spells, which led to the emergence of Thunderbolt Fireball, Golden Light Sword, and Earth Prison spells. After the Immortal Path was cut off, he became obsessed with the Talisman Path and had no time to focus on it, because in the later stage of chi refining, he had 3 self-created spells and had already stood invincible. Now that the Immortal Path has reopened, he can put in more effort to learn various immortal techniques, learn from their strengths and weaknesses, and then integrate his 3 spells to see if he can find a new path. However, with just a few tens of breaths, Su Yuming held the formula with his right hand and his spiritual power converged towards him. A 3-legged fire crow, the size of his head, let out a clear cry and flew out of the cave in an instant. In the moment he penetrated the formation, he evaporated dozens of meters of smoke in the mountain clouds and mist, and then spread out in an instant. Chang accompanied by the surge of sword energy, every inch of golden light scattered like countless threads towards the sea of clouds. After stirring up 100 meters of cloud smoke, it suddenly dissipated. At the end, the earth rock spikes were growing vigorously on the edge of the cave cliff, with more than 5 zhang long random stones growing forward. The rock spikes were densely distributed on top, with endless spiritual power and rock spikes. This move was extremely powerful. I have mastered the magic. The lower level magic is as fine as a needle, the middle level magic is 1 zhang green, and the upper level magic forms a formation on the ground. In theory, practicing it to the extreme can instantly destroy a space of 10 zhang in a circle. My path is still long. I used to cast 3 self-created spells and was able to unleash about 5 paths, thanks to the expansion of my meridian and elixir fields with the 100 herbs pill, which allowed me to surpass many ordinary people. Releasing this ordinary top-grade spell can actually release 2 or 3 more. It seems that the power of ordinary spells is not as good as my own created spells, but they can be used to make talismans. On the side of Yuyan Ancestor, she is willing to publicly claim that the previous Golden Light Sword Talisman, Earth Prison Talisman, and Thunderbolt Fireball Talisman were crafted by her. Therefore, I will also refine many of these 3 commonly used talismans on the market, which will be used to deceive people and improve efficiency. By dusk, Su Yuming had already begun attempting to refine talismans. Shu, however, after 10 breaths, the fire crow in his hand burned a piece of kitchen smoke talisman paper, causing him some heartache. After more than 10 rounds of refining, it was only then that one successful attempt was made. By the time he successfully crafted all 3 spells into talismans, it would already be a clear moon and sparse stars. On his legs, there were already 10 refined talismans placed, while beside him were already 100 discarded kitchen smoke talismans, as well as 3 empty bottles of chi returning pills and a pile of spiritual stones. After refining for 7 hours in one breath, why hasn't Yulong returned yet? Buzz, coincidentally, the talisman on his waist was scorching hot at this moment, but it was the transmission of Su Wu, a collateral cultivator who was assigned a layer of refining energy within his clan after becoming an elder. To report to the elder, Madame was awakened at the foot of the mountain and discovered a pair of twin siblings, who were only 6 years old. Their elders were reluctant to part ways, so they delayed at the foot of the mountain and have now arrived at the mountain gate. Oh! Su Yuming had some unexpected joy in his eyes. According to theory, the Water Clan has only been established for 100 years, and it is only passed down by a foundation-building cultivator. Unexpectedly, among the more than 800 ordinary people who migrated, there were 2 immortal seedlings. Perhaps the spiritual roots are not high. Yulong is still young and has a lot of love for children, so it's not easy to go on a path to immortality in the future. However, he thought about it and realized that for the family, Yulong couldn't care about the people of the Shueisha tribe in the town, so he would be even closer and more pleasing to himself in order to protect himself. Hey! With the 5 spiritual roots talent of Shui Yulong, if given time, she will be trapped in the middle stage of chi refining and will eventually grow old, unable to accompany herself for a long time. Whether or not she takes care of the members of the Shui clan, she will wither and give birth. It's quite troublesome. When Su Yuming murmured, he had already seen Yulong from the moon water leading a pair of exquisite jade-like children to the cave. Let my husband wait for a long time. Seeing Su Yuming stand up and walk out of the cave to greet him, Shui Yulong's face was somewhat apologetic, but still mostly happy. I have stayed at the foot of the mountain for a long time and have not achieved nothing. These are Shui and Shuilian, both of whom are members of the collateral lineage of our Shui family. In the early years, our Shui family migrated from Tao County, and our ancestors practiced martial arts for 5 generations. We should have come from the same origin. Today, I have asked them to call me Auntie and plead with my husband to leave them in front of the mountain, which is not only serving tea and water, but also taking care of them. After speaking, Shui Yulong quickly made the children kneel down and said, Master, this water is the 4 spiritual roots of gold, wood, fire, and earth. The water lotus has a slightly better talent, but it is the three spiritual roots of wood, water, and earth. Oh. Su Yuming was somewhat surprised. The three spirit roots were almost sure to produce a medium-grade Chapter 8. People are all waiting for Rust, this old boy just won't come down the mountain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. People are all waiting for Rust, this old boy just won't come down the mountain. Report to Elder, we have found a top-quality double cultivation technique, and also found a beauty pill. However, the price is quite high. Please personally go down the mountain to trade. The one who transmitted the message was Su Si. After waking up all night, Su Yuming had recovered most of his spiritual roots. After breaking through his cultivation, his physical body received a baptism and was also exhausted. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 75 out of 100, practicing with Taoist monks is like fishing. If you play too frequently, your whole body will ache, especially your hands. It's just about making talismans on weekdays, and we still need to control the fire. It seems like a trip down the mountain. Su Yuming pondered for a moment and prepared to deliver a message. He asked his third brother Su Yulong to borrow Su's 400 spirit stones, take this cultivation technique and the beauty pill together, and then return to the mountain to deliver them. Su Yulong wouldn't be afraid of him defaulting even if he had talismans to sell to his family. Haimo Forest is located in a dark forest between Yendang Mountain and Shangxiafang City. The cloaked man's voice was hoarse. Can you confirm that it was Su Yuming who broke through the top-grade talisman? In front of him, there was a person with a hunched figure. Elder, Su Yuming is known as the Three Wonders. His self-created Thunderbolt Fireball technique, Golden Light Sword technique, and Earth Prison technique are currently unmatched in the 6 mountains of Yendang. Su Yuyan claims to have mastered his 3 spells, which is also to deceive others. He must have broken through the top-grade talisman master, otherwise no one can infuse, seal, and refine these 3 spells into talismans. Humph, I didn't expect a 100-legged insect to die without stiffening. Since he wasn't beaten to death with a stick 30 years ago, I'll send him on the road today. You go back and once he comes down the mountain, immediately summon me. Yes. Please be careful, Elder. Su Yuming is currently at the 8th level of Qi refining and is known as a genius in martial arts. He must have 2 9th-level Qi refining cultivators to achieve a complete victory. Got it. The cloak man's eyes were full of sneer. You said you, the Su family, know your own people very well, just to let outsiders capture and kill him. What's the benefit to you? After all these years, you haven't exposed your appearance. What's the point of hiding? You will know sooner or later. The hunched old man's figure shook and he had already retreated into the soil. The top-grade Tu Dun Fu, this person has a rich wealth and should have a high status in the Su family. The cloaked man sighed and took out a note. Su Yuming has already broken through the top-grade talisman master. I will ambush him halfway through the market. When he goes out to capture and kill him, the Su family cannot have another top-grade talisman master, otherwise the competition for building foundation pills will be unpredictable. How could he possibly make a mistake when he ambushed Su Yuming with his half-step foundation building cultivation? Even though this kid was the 4th son of Yen Dang from the previous generation, he became the laughing stock among them, while the other 3 have all built their foundations for many years now. Even if he gets the chance in old age and recovers again, he can still catch it with his hands. But this wait is only 3 months. In theory, to become a family talisman, one must submit at least 5 talismans per month. Su Yuming has just made a breakthrough. Is it because the success rate of making talismans is too low, so he has been making talismans in seclusion? Don't be impatient. It's only a month until the arrival of the 5 Beasts sect Immortal, and I don't believe in such a lively scene. He wouldn't even come down the mountain to see it. Under Qixia Peak, there are 3 unique caves. Since half a month ago, when Su Yuming bought a beauty pill in a book called The 18 Styles of the Dongxiao Jade Plate, with 400 spiritual stones, he has been showing off his prowess for a while. During the day, I help the water and lotus awaken their spirits, using spiritual power to warm their meridians, and at night, I practice with the water jade dragon. Not long after, Su Yuming felt that he was already 3 points closer to the 9th level of qi refining. Su Yuming forces belonging to Foundation Building Family. Su family on Yendang Mountain Cultivation. 8th level of gas refining age. 53/60th sub-profession. 1st level high-grade talisman master spirit roots. Medium-grade gold spirit roots, reparable, medium-grade fire spirit roots, medium-grade earth spirit roots talent. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 123/500, Taoist couple. Yulong, cultivation. Refining 1 layer of qi, it seems that I guessed wrong. Previously, diligence could make up for clumsiness twice, because I had reached my level. The 8th level of qi refining and the intermediate level of talismans have trapped me for many years. Now that my spiritual roots have been restored and my mind is clear, it is natural for me to succeed. Su Yuming was satisfied that he could only obtain a chance through double cultivation. After he decisively chose to repair the medium-grade gold spiritual root, the spiritual root was already complete, and the hidden injuries in his body naturally disappeared invisibly. The life element and qi and blood decay that had trapped him would not have arrived so early. Age 53/80. Sure enough, he glanced again and saw that Shou Yuan had an extra 20 years out of thin air, while qi and blood had declined. Previously, it would have happened for at least 6 months, but now it can continue for at least 2 to 3 years. Within 3 years, the foundation must be built. Setting a small goal for the time being, Su Yuming reached out and gently stroked Shui Yulong's sleeping face, only to be surprised to find that she had quietly broken through the 2nd layer of qi refining. It seems that the 18 styles of the Dongxiao jade plate is indeed of high quality, which is beneficial for both of us. These days, he has run out of over 300 smoke-blowing talismans that he already had. Fortunately, he has refined 25 golden light sword rain talismans, 18 fire crow talismans, 17 earth rock thrust talismans, and 20 golden light sword talismans, with a success rate of only 20%. However, he is already very satisfied. After all, with his elder identity, he only needs to submit 15 golden light sword rain talismans to obtain a dozen more smoke-blowing talisman papers, a box of demon blood vermilion sand, and a bottle of blood yuan mantra water. The clan's expectation for him is to use more than 200 spirit stones and contribute at least 900 spirit stones to the clan. Moreover, there have been many instances of seeking talismans in recent days. These golden light sword rain talismans, fire crow talismans, and earth rock thrust talismans on Su Yuming's body should be able to be sold and given away in half, offsetting the loan from his 3rd brother Su Yulong. Su Yuming only has 1,500 spirit stones left. With such wealth, even if it breaks through to the 9th level of gas refining, it is unable to purchase the building foundation pill. The cheapest base building pill also requires tens of thousands of spirit stones to qualify for competition, which is only a 15% chance of breakthrough. As for the more expensive Chinese building foundation pills, they are all sold by the special envoys of the Five Beasts sect, with at least 50,000 spirit stones as admission tickets, but the success rate of breakthrough is at least 30%. For cultivators whose qi and blood have not withered, a medium-grade building foundation pill is enough to break through. Continue to exchange 6 dozen talisman paper and materials for making talismans, totaling 7 dozen. After refining, sell them in the local market to earn spirit stones. Trapped in the family, unable to last long. Su Yuming's previous relics have all been left within the clan, which means he intentionally abandoned the family's concerns. Now he has nothing else in his heart except for building a foundation. Husband. A soft barbarian suddenly wrapped around his neck. Su Yuming felt a ripple in his heart as he pretended to fall towards the bed. Husband, please wait a moment. I have something important to tell you in detail. Don't be in a hurry, take care of things first. I also have a gift for my husband to give to my wife. It's not too late until the sun rises. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. The Secrets of the Water Clan and the Great Dharma of Beast Life Co-Practitioners. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. The Secrets of the Water Clan and the Great Dharma of Beast Life Co-Practitioners. Her face was rosy, and her forehead was covered in fine sweat. Shui Yulong looked at Su Yuming with a coquettish expression and said, "Husband, are you curious about the origin of the Shui clan in my cloud ranch these days? You and I, as a couple, are united in the path of immortality. We know everything without hesitation and speak endlessly. If you don't speak up, there will be difficulties, and as a husband, we won't ask for further investigation." Shui Yulong leaned her body closer towards Su Yuming, and these intimate words warmed her heart. "I am a member of the Cloud Water Clan, a water law beast cultivator. In my early years, I came from the Tao County Escort Agency. Later, my ancestor created the Water Ape Sword technique and was able to open a martial arts school, accumulating family wealth. 200 years ago, by chance, I met Xianyuan, the cloud ancestor of our water family, and was able to join the Five Beasts sect as an external disciple. 50 years ago, he went to the Baiyun Five Mountains and joined the Cloud Ranch with the 9 layers of Qi refining cultivation. He obtained the Cloud Beast Qilin horse and stepped into the foundation building. Just last year, for some unknown reason, our clan's secret techniques leaked information and we were attacked by external enemies. Overnight, more than 50 cultivators from our water family were killed, leaving only me, who was visiting friends outside. Later, my water family members were sold at a low price to the local market, and were bought back by the Su family of Ni Yendang Mountain, citing a lack of warriors. I was mixed in and discovered by the Su steward. Su Yuming frowned and said, "Building a foundation after 50 years of cultivation, and being an outer disciple of the Five Beasts sect, this cloud-based ancestor of your water family should have decent combat power. The Cloud Beast Qilin horse is a rare and precious beast that has been seen for hundreds of years. Could it be that this object has made outsiders envious? How many enemies have come? Surprisingly, they can kill your water clan and no one can escape. At least you are also one of the members of the cultivation power of Cloud End Ranch. The power of Cloud End Ranch is even better than that of our Su family in Yendang Mountain. There are 3 foundation building cultivators, haven't they all taken action? There is only one enemy, and I dare not inquire from multiple sources." Shui Yulong's eyes turned red as he spoke. "I imagine they dare not take action because no one can defeat this bandit cultivator. Although the Cloud Ranch Foundation building cultivator pursued him afterwards, he did not know the name of the bandit. I believe the other party also came from my water clan's secret technique and dared not reveal their true identity. But I am afraid of involving my husband and family. If we don't leave the Su family after today, besides, the aquatic lotus outside the door has already activated spirit and refined Qi. It's better to let them change their surname to Su and stay in the clan for cultivation." Seeing Su Yuming remain silent, Shui Yulong shrank her neck and said, "You can take it with you. Madam, are you sure that your cloud ancestor has fallen? Since falling, within the cultivation family, there is usually a method of searching for relatives through bloodline. Later, I also secretly sneaked back into the clan and found that all the life lamps in the clan had been extinguished. Except for me, all cultivators in the clan had fallen." At this point, Shui Yulong was already sobbing uncontrollably. "Father, mother, and younger brother have all been killed by thieves. Our water family ancestor, Cloud Ancestor, with a foundation building cultivation, as well as the Cloud Beast Qilin horse, which also entered the foundation building period within 50 years, are nowhere to be found. The body is completely missing. Our water family's inherited martial arts technique, sea cloud mowing technique, is unknown, and even the secret art of guarding beasts is nowhere to be found. The secret technique of guarding beasts. Su Yuming discovered the key. A water system cultivation technique during the foundation period, and even the heritage accumulated by your water clan over 100 years, should not be coveted by the strong ones who fear the three major foundations of Cloud Ranch. What is the secret of this beast guarding technique? But it was passed down by the Five Beasts sect in the early years. No, the Five Beasts sect has passed down a secret technique, but it is an ordinary method of refining chi and controlling beasts. This method of controlling beasts and immortality was taken out by the Cloud Ancestor from an ancient secret realm, and it is a secret that our water family does not pass down. After finishing speaking, Yulong and he each changed into an inner shirt. Yulong pinched the magic formula with one hand, and as the blue light flickered, a headless little snake only 3 inches long appeared on the ground. With a few rolls, it pierced through the rocks reinforced by the chi refining formation, becoming incredibly soft. Overturning Dragon Chiu. Su Yuming was surprised in his eyes. "Madam, is this your own spiritual beast?" Longqiu is only 3 years old. It was a spiritual beast gifted to me by my father 3 years ago when I was inspired. Although it has weak combat power, it can plow the land and cultivate spiritual fields with its feces. Moreover, it has a first-rank lifespan of 500 years. As she spoke, Yulong's face became extremely cautious. "Husband, the martial arts passed down by my family are called the beast life co-cultivation Dharma. It is to integrate one's own soul with the spirit beast of one's own life, to share the same life and longevity. Although I have refined one layer of chi, I can still survive for 500 years. Although Su Yuming is old, his experience is more than 10 times that of Yulong, and his emotions are difficult to control at this time." Yulong leaned tightly against his embrace and said, "If it weren't for this beast being my own destiny, I would have cut off contact and transferred it to my husband. My husband has a greater future in cultivation than me, with a lifespan of 500 years and yuan. No matter how hard he tries, he can reach the peak of building a foundation. At that time, he can also protect his descendants and the people of my Shui clan. It's okay, just have this heart." Su Yuming reached out and stroked her 3,000 green threads. This earth-flipping dragon is rare in the world, only those rare historical sites within the major sects and with few human traces can survive. This body of animal blood is even more precious, and it can prolong life. You can't summon it in front of others. My body is aware of it. After practicing with my fellow practitioners, it will turn into a mark hidden on my body's skin, like a hidden pattern that is invisible. Unless you are a powerful cultivator with a primordial baby, it is absolutely impossible to discover my body's secrets. It seems that this inheritance is quite remarkable, Su Yuming pondered. How long will the cloud beast Qilin horse enjoy its longevity? 100-million-year-old beast in the clouds, a unicorn horse on the Qilin cliff, can naturally live for 1,000 years. This beast's origin is not damaged, so it can survive forever, and even be reborn in the clouds. At this point, Yulong suddenly broke free from Su Yuming's embrace and stood up. "Husband, from this perspective, it is highly likely that the Qilin horse of our Shui clan has not fallen, and has returned to the Cloud Ranch. The clouds there lead directly to the 9 heavens. If the Qilin horse were hidden within it, even if the thief were a Jindan immortal, they would not be able to capture it. If he were a Jindan immortal, he could be banned for 100 miles in an instant, and the Qilin horse could not escape. At most, he is a great and round cultivator who builds a foundation." Yulong was overjoyed upon hearing these words. "Husband, if you can build a foundation, this Qilin horse will be the greatest opportunity. I can summon it with the power of my own bloodline. If you can gain its recognition, you can obtain 1,000-year longevity yuan, which is also the golden elixir avenue." Su Yuming smiled and said, "The foundation has not been built yet, and the golden pill is still far away. Besides, the thief who cultivates and destroys your water clan is here to cultivate the great Dharma for this beast's life and also for the cloud beast Qilin horse. Do you think he will stay at the cloud ranch waiting for the Qilin horse? What should I do then? Said Shui Yulong with a smile on her face. Su Yuming hugged her tightly and said, at least this Qilin horse has not fallen into the hands of thieves. It is a spirit beast that protects your water clan and is also considered an elder in your clan. If there is a chance in the future, I will take you to see it. Thank you very much, husband. Shui Yulong smiled sweetly, and her eyebrows and eyes were already moved. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Family Affairs. Su Yulong struggled to build a foundation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Family Affairs. Su Yulong struggled to build a foundation. The clouds dispersed and the rain dissipated, and it was already late at night. Su Yuming did not fall asleep. He stared closely at the spirit light flash that appeared on the attribute bar. This should be another talent, after all, it will not disappear after use. But how should we apply it? The next morning, 600 pieces of talisman-making materials were brought back by Su Si, and Su Yuming immediately rewarded him with a golden lightsaber talisman for self-defense. On weekdays, Shu Yulong seemed to have revealed her inner secrets to him and behaved exceptionally well. Su Yuming politely declined the idea of assigning 10 servants to him within his clan. In his 3 unique caves, there are now Su Si and Su Wu running errands as attendants, with Su Sheng and Su Lian serving inside. Although they are still young, they can bring tea and water, clean the stone platforms on the cliffs of the cave, and it's not a problem. In the blink of an eye, it has been half a year since Su Yuming's cute life and death aspirations began. Su Yuming forces belonging to Foundation Building Family. Su family on Yendang Mountain Cultivation. 8th level of gas refining age. 53 80th sub-profession. 1st level high-grade talisman master spirit roots. Medium-grade gold spirit roots, medium-grade fire spirit roots, medium-grade earth spirit roots talent. Diligence can make up for clumsiness, 489/500, spirit flash, usable, mastering top-grade spells. Golden light sword rain art, fire crow art, earth rock spike, thunderbolt fireball art, earth prison art, golden light sword art Taoist couple. Water jade dragon, cultivation. Qi refining level 2. He felt his mastery of the 6 spells, and in front of him were 182 top-grade talismans and 700 completed talismans, with a success rate of 26%, which was considered progress. After submitting 15 more spiritual stones, Su Yuming sold 67 talismans to Su Yulong at a price of 60 spiritual stones per piece, earning a net profit of 4,002 spiritual stones. Including his 6-month salary of 250 spiritual stones and the 1,000 spiritual stones previously awarded by his family, he already had a family fortune of 5,000 spiritual stones. The remnants of Lingshire have recently been replaced with qi refining pills and condensation pills. In addition to his need for cultivation in the cave, the expenses of Shui Yulong, Su Sheng, and Su Lian are also on him. Not bad, not bad. Take these 100 talismans to the local market and auction off the entry ticket for the building foundation pill. You can be considered to have received them. Schwa, a transmission note suddenly escaped into the formation space and was caught by him with his probing hand. Old 19, come to the council hall and participate in the clan's deliberation. The messenger is the second sister Su Yuyen, and even the foundation building cultivators have come forward. It seems that something really big has happened. As an elder of the clan's talisman system, he is also considered a high-ranking official within the clan. Whoosh! Riding the newly refined smoke and flying sword towards the council hall, dozens of breaths rose up from the sky, and by the time it fell, it had already stood steadily on the steps. I have seen Elder Charm Maker. I've met my uncle. Nowadays, most of the cultivators at the bottom of the clan who refine qi are from the Yen generation, and many of them are inexperienced. It is speculated that there are also collateral descendants. Entering the hall, dozens of gazes immediately came over, most of whom were cultivators at or above the 6th level of qi refining. Today, in addition to the late stage of qi refining in power within the clan, there were also some core members of the clan, such as Su Yulong, who was in charge outside, who were also recalled. Su Yuming sat next to him, and the position of the manager of the talisman shop on the 9th floor of qi refining was not much different from his, just one external affairs and one internal affairs. Alright, since everyone is here, let's get down to business. Grandpa Yuyan looked around and his gaze fell on Su Yuming. Before the 15th, the special envoy of the Five Beasts sect carried 3 foundation building pills and auctioned them off in Taojun. They were supposed to come to my Yendang Shanfang city for consignment 2 months ago, but something went wrong. Yesterday, I communicated with the Yanfeng Judao ancestor and learned that my share of Yendang Shanfang city remained unchanged, but the date for selling building foundation pills was set to 5 days later. Moreover, according to reliable sources, the Five Beasts sect launched a campaign against the Black Stone Ancient Domain last year, killing over 100 second-level demon beasts. They used the demon beast's inner alchemy to refine many inferior building blocks, including the 3 blocks in Taojun. If my guess is correct, they should be of medium-quality building blocks. As usual in previous years, Taojun had at most 1 block, which has tripled since then. That means that in our Yendang Shanfang market now, it is highly likely that there will be medium-grade building foundation pills, or 2 or even 3 times the amount of inferior building foundation pills. In previous years, there were 2 or 3 pills, but this year it is highly likely that there will be more than 5 pills. Wow! As soon as these words are spoken, any cultivator present who is above the 9th level of qi refining will not be tempted. Don't think this is a good thing, everyone. The Five Beast sect has released many foundation building pills this year. If the Ming and later dynasties continue to conquer the Haishi ancient domain, it is highly likely that a conscription order will be issued. At that time, we will also be involved in the Yendang 6 mountains. Moreover, the higher sect has ordered, who dares not to follow the order? Ancestor, we must at least try our best to take this foundation building pill. Elder Su Laoding, who was already old and white-haired, bowed to Yuyan ancestor and asked. Take at least 2 and strive for 3. Currently, there are as many as 9 cultivators in the 9 layers of qi refining within the clan. Among them, there are 5 cultivators whose qi and blood have not declined. However, the Great Elder has worked hard and achieved great success. After discussing with Qianghai Patriarch, I am willing to give him another chance to challenge the foundation construction period. The remaining 5 people compete with their families' contributions. After speaking, Yuyan Patriarch had already withdrawn and left. Old 19, this may be my brother's last chance to compete in building foundations in his lifetime. Beside him, Su Yulong couldn't help but tremble as he heard that his family was going to bid for building foundation pills. Seeing the excitement and pleading in his eyes, Su Yuming sighed and patted his shoulder. Third brother, why bother seeing others? There's something I can use, but it doesn't matter, he said. Thank you very much, Su Yulong said as he handed him a storage bag. As the 2 of them stepped out, they were using their magical tools to soar into the air. Su Yulong's voice was enveloped in spiritual power, transmitting messages into secret. Old 19, these are 50 pieces of talisman making materials. How much can you make? Cut them all and give them to my brother before the auction. After I break through the foundation, I will give you the talisman shop at the foot of the mountain. In addition, when you break through the foundation in the future, my brother will protect you. Su Yuming bowed to him and watched as Su Yulong drove away with his magical weapon, his gaze long. This favor is really hard to help. Helping San Gu is reasonable, but when he takes action, the other 4 competitors will undoubtedly fall out with each other. Those who can cultivate to the 9th level of qi refining, and whose qi and blood have not yet declined, must all be powerful figures in the clan. These guys. Su Yuming doesn't want to offend him, everyone is related. Anyway, my third brother helped me activate the system, and in my old age, he even found a marriage for me. This causal relationship, I'll pay it back. With a clear mind, Su Yuming suddenly felt a flash of inspiration in his mind, as if he had figured something out. He was trapped in the golden light swordsmanship 30 years ago, as if there were new possibilities. New spells. The power of the golden light sword technique has surpassed many top-grade spells. Breaking through once again, is it a top-grade spell? End of this chapter.